Okay, we're out here and we're talking hedge trimming today, and I've got a very special gardener with me today, and that's Kayleen. Why is she special? Because she's my wife and she looks after our gardens here at Dural. Now Kayleen, we're talking about hedge trimmers. Now in the past you've used a petrol hedge trimmer, which has done the job really well.
Yep.
But what are some of the negatives of using a petrol hedge trimmer in your experience?
Okay, for me, the biggest one is weight. So this is heaps lighter than the petrol trimmer.
Now, of course, you're referring to the one in your hand, which is not a petrol hedge trimmer. This is a battery-operated one made by DeWalt, a cordless unit.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is a lot lighter than the petrol one you were using before.
Definitely.
Yep.
So it means you're not killing your muscles if you're doing a lot of hedge trimming, which I do. Then the other big factor is you don't stink of petrol when you're using it. So for me, being a girl, you don't want to be washing your hair every night, and if I'm hedge trimming every day, then you stink.
Okay, it's probably not so much an issue for me, is it?
No, not with
think
your...
you'd be right.
Yes.
But I'd still prefer to use the battery-operated one anyway. Now, does it work? Does it actually do as good a job as the petrol one?
Yeah, I've been using it, been trimming my Buxus hedges with it, and it's doing a fantastic job.
Okay.
Just as good as the petrol trimmer.
So it does work. Now, a lot of people are wondering whether the cordless ones will actually do the job, because some of the earlier models were a bit weak and didn't perform, and the batteries ran out and everything else. But I have to say it's come a long way. And this unit we've got here from DeWalt is an 18-volt one, and I'm really impressed with it. It's lighter, it's a little bit quieter, you obviously don't get the smell, and it does the job. And it just fits a standard 18-volt battery, which you probably already have if you already have a DeWalt drill. So all you do is swap it over.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Now, this unit here, if I can just take that off you here.
You can.
Now, it's got a number of safety features. I'm just going to keep you in close to me because you're wearing the mic today.
Yes, but I've got the blade near me.
Oh, we don't want the blade near you. Okay, all right. Safety first. So it's got a few safety features on there as well. So you've got a trigger on the handle and you've got a trigger over here. Now, it has that so that you can't take your hand off it and put it on the blades. It will not work. I think that's a really cool feature. So you've got to be pressing both at once in order to make it work. Pretty cool, hey? Now, we might get Kayleen to actually give us a bit of a demo in the garden, and we can see how this one works.
Fantastic.
So we're going to head over here to the Japanese box hedge. So you can see the technique that Kayleen's using is she's going over the hedge and then going back over the same area, just back and forth very lightly, just to take a little bit of a trim off there. Now sometimes people will set up string guides or metal frames to actually get it nice and straight, but after a while you can just do it by hand and by eye. Now while Kayleen keeps working, I'm going to talk to you about how to actually plant a hedge and get it going really well. One of the key mistakes I see with people when they've planted a hedge is that they dig individual holes for each plant. The problem with that is you get uneven growth. The best technique is to actually dig a whole trench all the way along so it's all evenly dug to the same depth. Mix in the compost and manure and gypsum if you've got clay into that whole trench, and so that the whole Buxus hedge will grow nice and evenly. The second big tip is when you first plant them in the ground, the plants you get from the nursery may be, say, this tall, and if you're trying to grow a hedge that's that tall, it makes sense. You think, well, I've already got a foot-high hedge. But what you need to do as soon as you get those plants and put them in the ground is cut them in half. I know it's going to seem brutal at first, but if you cut them in half, it's going to encourage them to produce low branching, which is how you get a nice thick hedge like this one here. Now we're in Sydney, so Japanese box works really well here in Sydney. I know in the cooler states you can get into the English box and some of the other varieties, but it doesn't do so well here in Sydney. Now how do you do about spacing? Generally for a Buxus hedge, I do about 3 per metre. You can probably add a few more in there if you want to get it thicker faster, but generally 3 per metre is just plenty. English box, because it's a bit of a narrower column shape in its growth, you may need to do some extra plants there as well. So today we're showing you about the DeWalt 18-volt hedge trimmer. It's the same battery that goes in the drills. It's lightweight, it's bright coloured, so if you put it down the grass you can find it again. And the best thing is, it works. it actually does the job, and you can see Kaleen's still going in the background, and it's lighter and easier. So if you want to get one of these, get onto our website and you'll be able to pick one up there as well.